they'll be angry at you for not letting them get over on you.
If you actually deliver results, they can't care. Gatekeepers don't like speed, they like bureaucracy. What's good, Uganda? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back with a very special episode of the Repat podcast. It's been a long time since we've been on the podcast, so we're gonna bring it back. And today I got my brother, the brainchild, the genius himself, the guy that's been solving a lot of problems for the Black diaspora. Even though it's behind the scenes, you guys don't know the Black genius himself. I'll let him introduce him, who he is.
What's up? I'm TJ from the Subi Shop channel, and I'm out here in Uganda.
Give me a round of applause. So, a lot of our unsung heroes in the Black diaspora are people like TJ. People who are, inspirational. Even he has a big channel, but they do so much, just in the community and diaspora and communities. He does a lot for me. I don't maybe give him his flowers enough, but since he's been coming on strong the last 6 months, he's really the brainchild of what we're doing here in the diaspora, especially in our Ugandan diaspora. And he has a really insightful way of, what's going on for those of you who come into Africa and understanding what's going on with, I would say, the rent-seeking culture, the gatekeeping culture that you might get in Africa and East Africa in general. Me and him together have worked on projects, worked in the private sector, and understanding what the problems are here. So I'll basically let him describe what he sees, as the gatekeeping culture for those of you who want to move to Africa and what it means. What do you think about, the difference between, like living in London and then starting a business here?
Well, if you're going to be in a place like London, Europe, maybe America, there's going to be strict guidelines that everyone adheres to, and you pretty much follow those guidelines. Whether you like them or not is a different matter, but you follow those guidelines,
right?
And then you get to the outcomes you want. Whether you're good at business or not, it's up to you. But you follow those guidelines. This is how you set it up, your company. This is how you do your taxes, etc.
Right.
And then you'll get to where you want to get to.
Yes.
One of the things about Uganda, which I've discussed with you before, is there's a guideline on how things are supposed to be. And the analogy that I've observed is just like there are rules in driving in the UK, everyone really adheres 90% plus to the rules. There's cameras at every traffic light. If you go through even the amber or the red, you're going to get a picture taken. Right? So everyone sticks to the rules. They're queuing in the right place. Yes, some cities are more aggressive than others, but for the most part, everyone sticks to these rules. Motorcyclists all wear a helmet. It's unheard of for motorcyclists not to have a helmet. So everyone has a child seat. If your child is like 11 and under, it's mandatory in the UK, for example. I'm sure it's similar in many states in America. So here, those rules are there. They're still supposed to be enforced, but they're not enforced for the most part. You're supposed to stop at the traffic lights. That maybe happens 60 or 70% of the time. You're not supposed to drive on the sidewalk, but anyone that's on a motorcycle is gonna drive on the sidewalk, the wrong side of the road, whatever. The rules are there, but there's not a culture to really adhere to those rules.
Right.
The other thing I say about the driving is there is eye contact made between drivers all the time because you're not relying on the lights and the signs to make the decisions for you when to stop and go. Anyone can drive anywhere. So you look for that eye contact and they kind of know to weave. And it still kind of works. They weave in and out, they slow down, I've lost my anxiety when I'm on a bike and two bikes are coming close to each other because I know the drivers look at each other and they kind of intuit, how they're going to pass each other. But if you're coming from the UK
right,
and you're going to get on a bike and you think you're going to follow the real rules, you might actually get in an accident because you don't understand about the intuitiveness of the flow of the traffic and everything. So now imagine that culture exists, but in the business sector. When you want to open your business, you want to get this location, you want to get this premises, open your whatever, do your construction or, get into the market, you're going to have to deal with this vague, unwritten landscape.
Right.
And in that vague and unwritten landscape, predators are lurking, ready to, we got someone that doesn't get this yet. We've got our system within the system. There's a straight road between this point and that point, but we found a way to put a gate right
Basically,
here.
obfuscating.
Right. I provide no value to the system,
Yes.
but I can put a gate right here
Mm-hmm.
and essentially put a toll to pass through this system.
Okay.
It's off the books. It's gray market, black market,
Mm-hmm.
semi attached to the real market.
Mm-hmm.
On the surface, everyone's going to be a professional.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do things by the book. We are professional, whatever. Mixed in with that, if you're a foreigner, if you're a Black American, they already have an idea that they think that you think you're smarter than them.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to show you that you're not smarter than them. We are just as smart, if not smarter than you. And that might manifest in actually want to take you for a trip. We would say, do you over,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah. You come with your American, you came from where? Harvard? You came from, come to Africa. You're now in my landscape, my territory. I'm going to show you, you're not as smart as you think you are.
Right.
So that's, I guess, a nice introduction to the landscape.
You've put it in, the one thing I like about the British, these guys are very pristine in explanations. So what you're also describing is something that most of us don't understand, which is like I call it seat holding in layman terms, or rent seeking.
Mm-hmm.
And what rent seekers tend to do is make money off of the current environment by extraction, but by not adding value.
Yes.
And on the other hand, foreigners like us coming to Africa because we're told that there is opportunity, and really it is opportunity.
Yes.
So here we are trying to add onto what we feel that we can fill in because we can identify with what's going on already.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to add on to what is not there. And while you're adding on to what's not there, here comes the person, like you said, that adds what? No value.
Mm-hmm.
And then their goal is for the most part, help you add on to what's not there, but them to become rent seekers or gatekeepers themselves.
Right.
Kind of go into detail about how we've both seen it here from a bird's eye view.
Are you talking about guys that come here and then become that?
No, I mean, like, let's say, for example, you're trying to get into the private sector.
Yes.
You build something from nothing in the private sector without the approval of somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
which is always the best thing to do.
Right.
Always do things in Africa without the approval of others if you can. Never seek approval from anybody. We had one guy, I told you about the one guy who met me on the airport. And then he saw what I was doing, tried to come in and manipulate what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
A foreigner, like, especially an African-American, a second generation diaspora returning,
Yes.
they've lived in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, man, I've got all these apps.
Mhm.
I've got all this DoorDash or whatever. Like, think of all of the stuff that exists in the West
Mm-hmm.
that don't yet exist here.
Right.
So you come here and you're like, man, blue ocean opportunity, man.
Yes.
If only I could add value by bringing Amazon here, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I like about the West that's not here, I could bring it here and everyone would love this.
Mm-hmm.
So you come here, massive opportunity, you're wide-eyed, you're there to add value.
Right.
So these people that are holding the seats
Mm-hmm.
that don't add value, they've learnt a different set of skills on how to extract from the market.
Right.
So their goal is not to add value, it's to maintain their territory, their seat.
Yes.
They don't value the skills necessarily that you're bringing.
Right.
So they don't even care that you're going to bring something that if you pulled it off,
Right.
would like liberate or open up a whole new market to the whole of the country or whatever you're trying to do.
Yes.
They don't care about that at all. They don't care that you're coming with a good heart, you want to connect with your roots, or none of that matters.
None of that.
They're holding that position.
Yes.
So herein is where the friction lies, because you can literally offer someone value
Mm-hmm.
and they don't appreciate that as value because they want value from in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are kept out and you just don't understand it. Like, I'm bringing this idea, I'm bringing this concept, I'm bringing this financing. Oh, they're interested in the financing. They're not interested in actually facilitating what you need to do.
Right.
You're going to miss each other because what they regard as value and what you regard as value and how you've developed
Right.
what you guys regard as value, they don't match.
Right. What you're describing is the dichotomy of the diaspora returning home and the elite class, or the upper middle class and middle class in Africa, which
Yeah,
is
starts from the middle.
middle to upper class Africans who are in brand manager positions, higher ups in companies. I won't say CEOs because CEOs, I believe, they have every interest to grow the company, right? If you're the managing director or whatever. But what happens, as you have described, is those people who are in those positions, I think they operate from like sort of a scarcity mindset. Number one, they don't know how long they will be there. So I'm here in this position. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Same thing with politics. Let me extract what I can. So using their position not only to get their monthly salary, but what can they get backdoor? So a lot of Black Americans or Black British or even Ugandan Americans, I think Ugandan British, you've been away, you've been living in a system of, meritocracy. And so, okay, you have an idea and you say, hey, I want to even co-partner with you or work with you. And you go to this person and they'll take the meeting.
Yep.
In that meeting, you will share your ideas, right?
Share your ideas. You're going to feel great.
Yeah, you feel great. You'll have a nice PowerPoint and all that. And they'll say, oh, powerful, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
Powerful.
This is wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I didn't see it like that. And so what will happen is that particular seat holder or gatekeeper is actually threatened by you because you bring a new method of doing things in a transparent way, which if it's approved, it will undercut all that they have been doing behind the scenes the whole entire time. Yeah. So that person cannot let you be successful, but what they can do is they can take from your intellectual property what you've given. So what you'll see is that person will just steal everything that you have done and count it as their own while leaving you out in the cold. Now, the reason why that happens in many African countries, especially in East Africa, is because even though that play has happened, number one, if you were to tell, which they think that you won't and most people don't, if you tell, you're now a whistleblower.
Yeah.
So then you're out, okay? And you probably want to work with that person. And secondarily, you're still proving yourself. So you have to show what loyalty. This is a relationship economy in most parts of Africa. It's not based on merit. Right? So now you feel like every time you want to work with the person, you need to always bring them or check in with them or see how they are doing. And this is kind of what happens to a lot of folks who I believe eventually adhere to the system and start scamming themselves or start seeing how it works. And so that is what me and you have faced, is basically bringing value to somebody who sees us as a larger threat and then take all of our ideas. We had one guy, I really want to mention the guy, but I won't do it because you're here. But we had one guy who he was actually on this podcast. He borrowed all of our work. I paid for everything. He claimed it in the corporate boardrooms as his own. And so what happened was, even though publicly was our work, internally, we weren't able to get financed off of it.
He was collecting finance.
Yes.
Right. He's working with us.
Yes.
We're developing something together.
Yes.
And he's saying, well, you guys need to put up the investment to make this happen so that I can bring you in.
Right.
And then he's going on the other end and saying, I am putting this work together, and he's got the access to the source of finance.
Yes.
So he's claiming the finance from both ends and taking credit for the team and the production and everything that we're doing.
Everything. And so this is the actual reality for most people coming to Black America, is understanding that you're in a situation of, you're in an environment of gatekeeping. It's not that the opportunity is not there, because opportunity is there. But the opportunity is avoiding gatekeepers, avoiding rent seekers.
Yeah. So just like in the driving analogy, you need to adapt from the way you've been driving in the West.
Yes.
You need to start learning how to make that eye contact, read the road, understand when, look, I'm going to be on the sidewalk. That's okay over here. That's not okay over there. It's okay here. Understand how these things work. I want to add something about these guys.
Yes.
I said it was like it starts at the middle class.
Yes.
There's only a few actual guys that can really make things happen. I see it like almost like a lords and ladies structure from the UK, the old school UK, right? So what do you do when you're a lord and you own this land, this principality, and you have 6 kids? You can't just divide your land amongst all 6, because by the 3rd generation, your wealth is gone. So many societies deal with this problem in different ways, but you might say everything goes to the firstborn, and then we marry off the daughters to rich prospects, so the daughters are taken care of. And then any sons that don't get the main inheritance, they take these status jobs, a general in the army, or it doesn't come with land and titles, or they have to build the land and titles through that status, right? But they don't just get the land, right? So I see this middle class group as those that maybe their dad is rich or they're from a group or that they were able to go to school and rub shoulders with the actual movers and shakers, but they don't have necessarily the reach, the clout when it comes down to the come down. But that person can get a job as a top restaurant manager, a top hotel man, like a job that will give you enough status over 80% of the population.
Right.
But then they're going to move like they are a real elite. And so when you encounter that person, they're going to try and build their elite status off you. They're going to try and build that elite situation, make you feel like they are a real elite.
Right.
And this is part of the seat holding, right? Because they're going to take their whatever they do and put it up the chain and in the hope that they can get a spot at this higher level. And 9 times out of 10, you'll find them shifting around and moving around, but they're not the real deal. And in their desperation, they're even more predatory on guys like you and me.
Right.
So I think that's like most of the people you actually encounter.
Right.
There's a joke someone told me. If there's a room of 10 people, 11 of them can introduce you to the president. Right?
That's definitely a guy.
But you never get the meeting.
Right.
And, you know, in that flow is opportunity to get taken advantage of.
Yes. I think this is the first podcast that describes gatekeeping behavior in Africa. And let me just see, what are some of the characteristics that you see? Because I know Africa is versatile, but in comparison to Black Britain and Black American culture, we tend to be more straightforward. What are some of the characteristics of gatekeepers you see?
They'll be well presented. They'll be polite, but they'll be passive aggressive in the true sense of the word. So come to my office. You know, they're never going to stick out their neck to accommodate.
Great point.
They're going to bring you into their domain where they can sit behind the desk and have this posture. You know, they're going to schmooze you. They're going to talk to you like, man, you're so smart. You're so...
Fake humility.
Yeah, fake humility.
Almost sarcastic.
Yeah, but at the back end, almost of every conversation you have, there'll be some comment or there'll be something that just flashes that you need to become attuned to that lets you know that they can't quite hold it in. They have to just give you that little...
Give me an example.
We were dealing with one company and they did repeated things that you could say were bad business practice.
Yes.
For example, 6 of us go to a place for a meeting and they don't show up.
Right.
No apology.
Right.
When we complain about it, oh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Won't happen again. Some more stuff happens and someone in the room gets angry, right? Someone in the room gets angry, right? So all the wounds that we've been receiving, we've just been taking them.
Right.
And you get to the point where someone gets angry. You can't do this. You've wasted my time. You wasted my money. Now he's unprofessional.
So no accountability.
Right. And what I find is there will be a point when we kind of both know you're screwing me over a bit here or you're screwing me over a lot here, but I'm still in the game to get... Look, I know I'm new here. I know I'm a foreigner. I know I'm probably going to get a raw deal, but I'll take it for now because maybe 2-3 deals down the line, I will go past this gate and I'll be in the promised land of opportunity. So you kind of take these things on the chin. But then the moment you say, you know, no or whatever, then they throw up their hands like, ah. And the way I'll describe it is they'll be angry at you for not letting them get over on you. Right. So you're now hard to deal with.
Right.
This guy's rude. I'm now going to go into my network and I'll be like, the guy's rude. Really what it is I figured out that you were stealing from me, cheating behind my back, double dealing, side dealing.
Right.
I figured that out. And when I've called it out, my call out is interpreted as hard to deal with, arrogant foreigner.
Right.
That's the passive aggressive knife coming from the back. It was all polite when they were, you know, getting over on you and you were kind of taking it. One more example. I think I've said it before, but this explains it perfectly. I went to rent a unit. In the contract, you pay a deposit. You get the deposit back at the end of the contract as long as you deliver the place you're renting back in the condition by which you got it. So I wanted to record and take pictures. There was a lot of back and forth. I won't go into all the details, but they revealed to me that they had no intention of giving me the deposit back, regardless of how I would give them the place back. And the reason the deal broke apart was because someone finally said, okay, if you give me back this room in the condition you gave it to us, we'll give you the deposit back. So I said, fine, let me take pictures. And the deal just was like, no, okay, we can't do business with you. you're too hard to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to hold them accountable to that standard that they'd now agreed to. So what they would much rather is an uneducated guy from the village comes and takes that thing, and then they're like, just take that guy for a ride. And then, at the end of the day, he doesn't get his thing back. And that guy's just going to have no recourse. He's not going to double check the contract. Mm-hmm. He's not going to take pictures. That's the customer they want.
Again, better than what I could have expressed it. We talk about this all the time. But then another thing is basically dealing in opacity, right? Being opaque.
Right, yes.
Also, obfuscating. So making things more difficult than what they should be for no apparent reason. One of the things that gatekeepers like to do is to make you cover territory that you don't need to. And that is to frustrate you and to mentally break you down. So it forces you into complete submission. So let's say, for example, many of you guys are coming here from Britain, Caribbean, Black America. You're coming in strong-willed, right? And you're talking about something that a gatekeeper doesn't care that you have a goal to be fair. You've mentioned to me in the past that if you actually deliver results, they can't care. Gatekeepers don't like speed. They like bureaucracy. Mm-hmm. And they like dealing in the fog. But if they can claim what you're doing and it works, and if you have speed to what you're doing, they will attach to your speed and claim it for themselves.
They like the results that you bring.
Yes. And TJ is the one that actually showed me that. They may not like you or how you do things, but if you can prove that you can do things through your own self-funding, they'll do anything they can to claim it because it makes them look better. But now what they want to do also is to make you cover territory. For an example, hey, listen, I just sent a payment to your account. Go check. You get on the bike, go to the bank, stand in line. It's not there. Oh, it's not there? Wow.
Yeah. Let me talk to my secretary.
Right? So
3 times in a row.
Yeah. Over 4 months. And that strategy, number one, it's to piss you off. But at the same time, the guy owes you money. So what happens? If you yell, curse, scream, all of that, he will not respond or she will not respond. It's to turn you into being submissive. Okay, listen, I really want this money. Let me talk to this person nicely. Okay, now you're bending to my will, right? So I'm operating and obfuscating your career. In other words, you won't get, because a gatekeeper opens the door to the next person. So if you don't treat me like I want to be treated as a gatekeeper, you're not going to get anything. So humble yourself. I'm the guy that you need to know. So it makes you say either I'm going to forget whatever I'm owed to and take it as a loss, or I'm going to conform.
Which is win-win for them.
Yes. And either way, if you conform, that's more money for them. They have somebody in their network they can use, and there you go.
The interesting thing that this reminds me of as I'm thinking about these scenarios, we've discussed before how, let's say that you came to a business in America and you said to them, I've got this solution that can 3x your bottom line. That person is motivated to bring that solution to the company.
Yes.
The company's going to give them a bonus.
Yes.
They're going to rise in the system of meritocracy.
Yes.
So they're going to bring your innovation in.
Yes.
And give it to the system. That doesn't necessarily work here. Their objective is not to increase the bottom line. Their objective is to climb to a higher position of status and receive status, and then they can take advantage of more territory, put up more gates, or collect more tolls.
Yes.
The value is never aimed to go to the company.
No.
Or whoever they're working
for.
So you can't get in the door with a win-win solution. Hey, I can do da-da-da.
Perfect.
Right? So your objective, you think you're coming here to like add value to this thing, but that's not the value they want. And you probably can't give them the value they want. Right? So in the meeting, they're going to be like, oh, this is amazing for the company.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But they're stealing from the company anyway.
Yes.
They haven't got the company's best interests at heart.
Right. And if they don't have the best interest of the company at heart, there's no way they can have your best interest at heart.
Right.
And so here's what I would say, because TJ and me, we've been talking about this at least since January this year. You know, we've got, and shout out to AI, because you're the one that got me on AI. And what I was able to do with ChatGPT is just upload receipts of, hey, this is how this person paid me. This is what happened. And then ChatGPT was like, no, this is incorrect. So you need to really, if you're coming to Africa, doing business in Africa, use Google Gemini, use ChatGPT, because ChatGPT understands things that you don't about this climate. And so if something is wrong, ChatGPT will give you clarity to how things really work in the country you're going.
So let's double click on that.
Yes.
Because that's an excellent point. We only figured out how we were being scammed because we used AI, which sounds counterintuitive because we're in a market where maybe AI is not so used or whatever. But let's explain that context. You can give AI information. So you can create a custom GPT in ChatGPT, or you can create a project or, every AI platform has this thing where you can create an environment that you can add data to. It could be as simple as just continuously using a chat, but eventually that chat will become full, that singular chat. But you can create an environment where you can just, like, you've got your first contract, just take that contract and put it as context.
Right.
It sits there. You get the next thing. You take that and put it there. Your bank statement, you get it and you put it there. And eventually you're building up data for AI to double check your work.
Right.
Double check the contracts, double check these things. And there is a point when you're driving here that you can't go through a red light.
Right.
There is a point where you must adhere to the rules of the road because life and death is at hand, driving badly. Or maybe there's a policeman doing manual trafficking. And if that policeman is there, you've got to be more on your P's and Q's at the junction. So there is a point where you can find pressure points and opportunities or mistreatments that actually mean something in the market. Oh, he wouldn't want this. If I take this to his boss, this information here, we've uncovered that there's a payment here. For example, this payment didn't come from the company. It came from his personal bank account. Why would that payment come from his personal bank account? Okay, now I can go to him and say, I'm going to take this to your boss if, I've just discovered this. That might be something that goes under the radar, but because you've been building up this history with AI, you can converse with it and it can say, hey, I found this opportunity where this person's made a wrong step, and you can use that to your advantage. Or even if you're not going to use it to your advantage, it's not always the right thing to do is to challenge. It's not always the right thing. But maybe you just now know. You're now aware, which, is going to put you in a better situation.
This is important because, again, most people, and I would say in Uganda, if you are working with, let's say, brands you see in America and you want to work with them and add value to them, you see where you have a hole in the market, most of those people are seat holders, as you said. Seat holders are rent seekers. And rent seekers look to make money off the current ecosystem without adding value. So the Black American strategy or the Black British strategy is how to make or force gatekeepers to cover territory. And that is what me and TJ talk about every single day. When we talk about, like, for example, he's helping with the Panaffrican dating show, whatever we want to do offline. The strategy is not to, let's say, let's go collaborate with this person. Because collaborating with gatekeepers is a no-no. I've had one on this podcast who's here all the time. I won't mention his name, but I've worked with gatekeepers and it never turns into that. The way to work with gatekeepers is to compete with them. And the great thing about gatekeepers is gatekeepers don't compete. Gatekeepers hold territory.
Right.
So what can you do as a Black American in business to make gatekeepers cover territory? Their strength is in defending, not covering. And the first thing that you can do, if you start a business here, start your own email list. This is not my own idea. This is actually part of TJ's, I believe, and like shout out to Charlie. We got an Airtable. We have Odoo, shout out to them. And we try to collect as many contacts for our business so that we can control our own audience. Stop thinking about brand budgets. Stop thinking about what this brand can do with you. No, start thinking about how you can interact with your customers and the loyalty that you can build with your customers by delivering speed, delivering value. Of course, it takes time. And so what you want to do is cut into gatekeepers' territory. And if that's like moving to Uganda, maybe you're not in Uganda, maybe you're in Gulu, maybe you're in Arua, maybe you want to go to Lira, Mbale, and Barara. Gatekeepers are typically outside of big cities. They have a hard time covering territory because they're not there to help the company grow. So if you have a product or a service, your job is to just win the market. Gatekeepers are to hold seats. I'm going to say it again. You're trying to win the market. They don't want to better the market. They want to hold a seat. So the way to get what you want in the market is to force a gatekeeper to come to you on your terms.
Right. So you have to figure out actually what they're looking for.
Right.
And then that's now where you can start to have some leverage and you don't just open your arms to these people. You play defensively. The email thing, that goes for whatever you can collect. Email, WhatsApp, phone number, contacts, location, age, sex, whatever you can collect. And let me tell you the long game of that as well. If you're trying to collaborate with people and it's not working, you can't get into the market the way you want, you can't get the deals, you can't get the access, cool. As you build up this customer list, eventually you will be able to build your own infrastructure, whether it be your own product or something that allows you to, access the market, without, you've created your own universal value. And actually when you have that, then they actually might want to work with you because you've got something, you've dug your own well where you're drawing water from. And they're like, oh, yeah, can I get some of that water? So I think another thing we should emphasize here is we're talking about the tactics.
Right.
Make no mistake. This is not a blanket statement for Africans. Okay. This is a specific scenario when you come across gatekeeping. You need partnerships here. They may be formal or informal. One of the greatest partnerships I have here is my partner, Medina, right? Because she helps me navigate so many things, bringing me up to speed or whatever. That's an obvious partner, right? But then you can have someone like who Zara and Julia's partnered with. Right. So I'm so sorry. I always forget his name.
I forgot his name too.
You can have people that are not of this class that we're talking about, but they're hungry, they're industrious, they want to learn from you, they appreciate you, they want to go to battle with you. They themselves may be getting gatekept in their own way. You can find those partners, and then their local knowledge, your Western innovation, you put that together, now you have an interesting team.
Right.
You can maybe, there's a time where that person is the front person, depending on who you're talking to. Maybe another time it's advantage if that person's in the back and you're in the front. But partnership can work. You just need to find the right people. Also, that goes for staff and people that are helping you, employees. Maybe in the UK, it's much easier to sift through and find people of value. You got all these internet, you got, whatever, people by referral, your existing network. Here, you're coming here cold. So it might mean that instead of every 10 person, you find one person of value in the UK or America, well, maybe here it's every 50. But that one person of value still exists. Find that person, hold on to them, treat them well, partner with them, work with them. They will return so much for you. Just to emphasize, we're not here just to bash. We're talking about specific kinds of situations where people try to take advantage of us as foreigners in their land. Right? There's plenty of people that don't want to take advantage. And want to actually build with you because they see your value. And they're like, oh, if I can partner with him and add value, that's the people. Those are the people you want to work with. Right.
And that's why so many Africans are leaving to Dubai, Saudi Arabia every day, because they want to be in a world where it's fair. But and you taught me this, the strategy is not always to be so quick to collaborate, but you need to come here to be undeniable. And that's something that TJ taught me, which is many countries, depending on which one you go to. Kenya is a little bit better. It's a lot better. But if you come here, Burkina Faso, I've never been there, but I can almost imagine it is a winner takes all or winner takes most market. And in order for you to do well in a business there, you will have to be undeniable. So good that if they don't work with you, it's like they're stupid. Okay?
Yes.
And so how do you design the business that is like that? Number one, controlling all of your own contacts. Number one, controlling your own email list, contact list, name, phone number, like you said, interacting with your people offline, having QR codes, scanning codes, things like that. From day one, you start a business, you're collecting all of your people's information and communicating with your audience and building your audience every single time. Two, being resilient and being consistent. It's going to take harder in a market like this because people don't recognize you all the way. This is a low trust environment, but the way to build low trust is to do what? Establish goodwill. And this is something that obviously in certain communities in America, Britain, we understand goodwill compounds, but here it may compound faster but slower at the same time. So people don't trust each other here. It's just the reality of what it is. And so goodwill it tends to be the only good currency that you have. So a lot of times I may do things not knowing who I'm talking to, who I'm dealing with, but I'm tipping, I'll spend money at restaurants or whatever, at partners, even if they wouldn't do it for me. I'm establishing the goodwill even if the person isn't showing or displaying parity. And that's something that's a little bit different for us as Americans because we give parity as we get it. But when you're coming to a place, the continent, you cannot ever expect parity at first. Okay? You're establishing goodwill to become undeniable and not transactional. That's a whole nother podcast, but that has to be in the back of your mind. If you're going to do business here, establish something here, almost automatically you're in a low trust environment. Most Americans or British probably haven't dealt with that. But that's one of the things you need to do. But the main thing that you need to do is, as much as you wanted to collaborate, control how many people know your business or product and establish those emails, add value to your audience. Build that. You have to have that, okay?
You'll be surprised how many businesses that are here, successful and established, don't do that. It just gives you an immediate advantage. I mean, it's not rocket science, but you might have been hearing collect emails or collect contacts. People have been doing that for years, but You'd be surprised how many businesses don't do that. To your point about being undeniable, that's on you. That's on you when you come here to be excellent, to be as excellent as you can be. That's on you. That's not on, oh, I don't like the environment or whatever. This is the part that you can control. You have to come here and be hardworking. Africa is not for the faint heart. You're not going to come here and think that, yeah, it's going to be easier here. You're just going to have trade-offs that you wouldn't have in the West here. There are massive opportunities, yes, but that doesn't mean you have to roll up your sleeves any less. And so if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not willing to have a long-term multi-year strategy,
right,
that's on you. And if you go back with your tail between your legs and you're going to complain, it's all about the environment you're in.
Right.
The question is, did you do the most? Did you put in everything? You know, were you trying to be undeniable, or were you here to find a shortcut in your life?
Right.
Shortcut doesn't work here. How much responsibility can you put on yourself? You've come to this environment. You've come to a new place with a new set of rules, a new landscape. So take ownership of that. And then it helps you deal with those times when you're treated unfairly, which is probably inevitable to happen somewhere along the line. And it helps you deal with that because you've already got an accountability mindset and a hardworking mindset. Accountability and hard work can get through a lot of gets you past a lot of issues. You may have to pivot a number of times. I've pivoted a number of times. And that's also just because you don't understand the nuances of the market here, the psychology of the customer, because you didn't come from a place that has this psychology. And it doesn't make this market any less valuable. If you understand the psychology of the market, that's an opportunity for you. But you come with your preconceived ideas, they may not work. My first couple of ideas didn't work here purely because I didn't understand the market, the psychology of the customer. So I would err on the side of taking responsibility anyway, and putting that pressure on yourself and saying that you're going to be great. So many people here do not have a excellence mindset, but they've never seen it.
Right.
You've seen it.
Right.
You know excellence, right? So become excellent, show excellence, display excellence.
Okay.
And, that opens up things for you as well.
Let me add to that. Also, what are some of the things that you hear from somebody who's attempting to gatekeep or somebody who has a rent-seeking or seat-holding mentality? You will hear things. And like I said, in America, Britain, in the private sector, like if I want to work with TJ, once you do X, Y, and Z for me, how much? What do you need? Like I'm trying to win his favor if I want to work with him. A gatekeeper will not say that. The gatekeeper will say things like, oh, that's great. Oh, that's powerful. I'll get back to you.
It's okay.
It's okay. We will see. Now, you can go and give a presentation to somebody like that, and you're hearing things that are statements that don't lead anywhere. And whenever you hear a statement that doesn't give a definitive time or a definitive limit, it is gatekeeping. That's what it is. And that person has no intention on going further with you. Okay?
Regardless of how nice they are in that meeting.
Right.
Like a lot of language here is vague, and it's intentional. It's designed to keep people guessing.
Right. So it's basically making you cover ground, but also making you come back to that person and ask again, because that's power. So how do you deal with that? I tell you I want to work with you. You tell me that we will see. So what I tell you is great. We will see. You have 48 hours to respond to we will see, or within that 48 hours, if you do not give a committed time frame, I am going to go either to somebody else, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell your boss that I've offered to do X, Y, and Z, and you said no.
Right.
Okay? So the way to beat gatekeepers is to counteract them and to force them into making a decision. So they're trying to make you cover territory. If they can keep it vague, they'll keep you guessing. Never let them keep it vague. I don't care how big they are. I don't care about losing the deal. You're not going to get the deal anyway. So what you do is you document everything. Okay, I've given you 48 hours. I've given you an offer. And give them an offer that they can't refuse. Something that's like free, you're willing to pay for product. Something that a company that's trying to grow cannot say no to. And if they balk on it, your counter offer is you have 48 hours to respond. And they probably won't. And so then what you do is you escalate it to their boss or to a speak up channel or to whistleblowing. Okay? The only way to beat gatekeeping is to force them to make a decision. For example, I had a person here. I don't want to call that person's name, but I was trying to get that person to do something. We had somewhat of a falling out. The person would not respond to me, for example, okay? Business thing. So I had somebody call the person and say, listen, if that person doesn't call me within 30 minutes, that person is done. Okay. So that person went and, went into someplace else.
Explain that. Done? What do you mean?
Done. Finished. Like, they have no opportunity with me anymore.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
So it forced that person into making a very, very bad decision in which they ended the relationship. But it forced them to make the decision on my timeline, not on their timeline.
Yes.
Okay? And so what foreigners have to understand is that rent seekers must be because the rent seeker or a gatekeeper wants you to cover mental territory.
Yes.
Wants you to think about, wants you to stress yourself, wants you to whatever, right? Wants you to run around circles. What you want to do is make them do the exact thing what you do. And gatekeepers are not used to being on the defensive. They're used to being on the defensive.
Right.
The way to make them on the defensive is to turn around on them. You have 48 hours. And they're like, well, the nerve of you. No, you have 48 hours. I've given you this. You haven't given me a timeline. If you don't give me a timeline, then it's off. They're not going to give you a timeline. Then the next thing you do is you escalate it up the chain. You move it a step or two above them, saying, hello, here are the messages from me and such. I tried working with him with your company. I was willing to pay for all this for free. And this is how he responded. He said, oh, that's great. Oh, we will see. Oh, we whatever. Is this what you wanted from this guy? Because it seems like you're trying to grow your business and I was willing to do it for free, but he didn't want to do that. Okay, now you've embarrassed that person. Okay? Now, they'll call that playing dirty, but the fact that they're not giving you a commit time, they're playing dirty.
Yeah, you're messing with his status in the company.
Yes.
He doesn't want to look bad. He's playing a status game in his company.
Yes.
So we've been generating, let me just say, O'Shea has been generating value and he has something everybody wants. Mm-hmm. Direct to customer, which is Gen Z watch his platforms. Mm-hmm. His Panaffrican dating show especially, right? So everybody wants that attention. Great. Now that's like the thing that he can use to leverage. Okay. Our last event generated 2 million views in East Africa across all platforms.
Shout out to you.
We want to work with you and we want to offer a deal where we can guarantee another 2 million views for your company. Are you interested in this? That is wonderful. We shall see. I will talk with the boss. When it's okay. It's okay. We will let you know. That's very nice. And can I just say congratulations on your platform?
Very nice.
Right? So they're all the beautiful, whatever. That is him figuring out how he's going to take advantage of the situation. He's biding time to take you out. So how can I get the 2 million views without giving you credit, by generating whatever? When you start hearing that language, that's when you know. So that's when he's saying, okay, before I went into that meeting, I already identified 3 people in the company at a higher level than this guy. Mm-hmm. I will give this person the ultimatum. If he doesn't accept my ultimatum, I'm either going to take that to his competitor and tell the company why I didn't bring that to them, or I'm going to just go straight to the boss or whoever and tell that to them. Or your other option is, if you're building a platform, you're building online, you tell your customers or you tell the world, right? You tell publicly, hey, these people, all of these things have consequences. You got to be careful how you move, but you have recourse. Mm-hmm. The threat of doing that gives you leverage. Mm-hmm. So you can say, well, if you don't answer in the next week, this is what my response is going to be. This is how you start manipulating.
How important, you talk about leverage twice.
It's everything.
Because, we don't really use leverage as much. I mean, everybody has leverage, right? But how important is leverage for a foreigner? Like, it's a really explicit thing here. How important is leverage here in Uganda or in Africa?
I think in the West, leverage is understood somewhat. But the average person going into business doesn't think about leverage in a day-to-day environment with everyone it meets, with business partners, right? They don't think in terms of leverage in general. Although you need leverage when you're making deals and you understand it, but you don't go into the market thinking, right, where can I leverage the weaknesses of the people of my network.
Right.
You think, where can I find win-wins? But here, everyone is looking for leverage. And when they see they have leverage, they're coming to take that leverage, right?
Uh-huh.
They found it. They found the gold. If I can get leverage, every situation is positioning for leverage for them. So you have to position your leverage. It's just as simple as that. Your leverage is going to help you defend. Your leverage is going to help you progress. They understand leverage very well.
Very
Why?
well.
Because they've been getting leveraged on all the way up to wherever they're from, their position. So leverage is understood here. Although we've had a situation where people don't understand when they don't have leverage. They understand when they have leverage.
Yes.
They might not understand when they don't have so much leverage.
Right.
So they'll blow up a deal. What's the term? Cut their nose to spite their face.
Right.
They'll do all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're bringing up, so basically, let's talk about Africans in general, especially in Uganda, they do understand when they have leverage.
Yes.
They do not understand when they have lost it. I'll give you the most simple example. You're on the road. Most of us, if you don't use, say, Boda, there's a thing called Boda, which is like the motorcycles. It's popular in Uganda, really. It's also there in Kenya, but, you'll take a boat.
Okada in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Motoconcho in Dominican Republic.
Yes, even in Tanzania.
Right.
Guy says, how much for a ride? So, say Boda is 3,000 shillings, like almost less than $1.
Right.
He says 10,000 shillings. So that's like almost $2.50. He believes that his leverage is that you don't know what the price is. But you know that ride is 3,000 shillings. So what do you tell that person? No. You hop off that person's bike and go to somebody else. That person does not realize that they have lost the entire sale. And it happens a lot. That's just on the most basic rudimentary level.
Because there's thousands of options.
Yes.
They're not the only guy
Perfect.
there. That's why there's no leverage.
Yes. In African business culture, a lot of these guys, brand managers, governments, their leverage is, because in the Ugandan business sector, most people do not like this whole idea of whistleblowing or telling, because there is punishment. You talked about there's a recourse to being a whistleblower. I mean, there's punishment for that.
Yeah.
So most people feel like, because the money doesn't really move so fast here in Uganda as it does in the States and in Kenya, in their mind, telling on a gatekeeper is going to hurt them more than help them. I really don't want to leverage that. But from somebody from America or from Britain, we can tend to take on more of what I call a scorched earth approach. And we can come to the realization really quick that, well, we're not going to get anything out of you anyway. So f you, we're going to just tell on you, right? We're going to bring the whole thing down. And so the reality is that the person who is going to get caught on the back end of all of that has been doing it for so long. They've been sloppy for so long. There's been one guy, he's been making all kind of deals. Not on his, he has a work cell phone number. Mm-hmm. He doesn't use it. He's been using his own personal phone number, promising to give MOUs, memorandums of understanding. The whole, because the whole time is he never thought that he would be reported. And he has years of evidence against him. So there is no way for him to defend all of that territory, because simply he's been f***ing up for so long and stealing from so long. He thought his leverage was so strong, his ties were so strong, he lost that leverage in general. And fortunately for Americans and for British and for those in the diaspora, that is an opening for us, okay? Now, it will come with some punishment. However, the reality is that you will grow because people misappropriate their leverage. What did Warren Buffett say? The most money he's made in life is because people are what? Being stupid. He makes a lot of his money off of idiots, right? And I hate to say this. If people in the private sector and around the world want to misappropriate your leverage, I don't care if you're African, I don't care if you're Black American or whatever you are. If that is the case, if they want to misappropriate what they're doing, because they'll use leverage to defeat you all the time. But if they're misappropriating their leverage, I say fuck them. I say it with the, look at me. I say fuck them. Take them down, okay? Because, again, they're trying to take you down, right? And a lot of guys here, there was a guy, and this is not TJ saying this, right? This is me, so don't come after him. There's a guy I know that had a big market day, and he was charging a lot of money for his market day. There's another guy that came in the same vicinity that lowered it by like 60%. He had that market day for like 2 years. His market day completely fell off. He never had any kind of mental adjustment to change the price. he was so willing to go down swinging. Either it was going to work his way or no way at all.
Right.
And he was okay with failing. And so if a person's going to be like that, let them be like that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make you wrong. So the one thing is that if they can have leverage over you, they will use it. If they misappropriate their leverage, use it against them.
Right.
Just like guys in judo do. I think judo is a big part. I mean, I don't use a sport, but judo is about using your leverage against you, right?
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu.
Sorry. Same thing. Yeah.
Same DNA. There's 2 points I want to make. I hope I don't forget them.
Uh-huh.
When you challenge this vague language,
Yes,
and this moment where, you know, they're dangling the carrot, but you're probably not going to get what you want.
right.
When you force them into a hard answer, it requires you to break the social norm, at least over here in Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
So every time someone is in this position with them normally, them saying, it's okay, we shall see, yes, that vagueness is enough for the person to take that and walk away.
Yes.
That's how they play with each other.
Yes.
But when you say, I'm sorry, I don't think that's I don't think that's an answer. I need a definite answer. Can you say the word yes or no?
Perfect.
Right now?
Yes.
You will see them short circuit. Why are you being aggressive? Right?
Why are you like that?
Right. At that point is when you'll see if they're going to blow up the deal or not. And many of them are short-sighted. They will take the emotional superiority of the moment to say no to you. And even at the stake of maybe losing the opportunity, losing their job. Sometimes, right? So it is good to challenge in those vague moments. It is very good to challenge. They won't like you for it. When you come across that situation and you see them squirming, the reason why you might not have had the idea when you're coming here to be in that position to see them squirm is because you think, I don't want to antagonize, I don't want to lose the deal, I don't want to have the mindset that they're already shutting the deal off from you. Already,
absolutely.
Right? So if you have that mindset, it doesn't matter. You're ready for the no anyway. Get to the no now. Get to the no in this moment.
Right.
Rather than 2 weeks down the line with vague, ignore you got it in your mind, you're planning, you're trying to woo them. Get to the no now. They might not like you for it or whatever. If you get to the no now, you may very well have missed that opportunity. You may very well. It's possible that if you'd let that moment massage or whatever, that you missed that opportunity, yes. But that's 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 100 missed. 99% of the time, the opportunity wasn't there for you anyway.
And that's one thing.
So just play that. So just play that percentage.
Right.
It's okay to lose. You'll lose 1 in 100.
Right.
It's okay to lose.
And you can't miss what you've never had.
Right.
And you've, again, that's why I like podcasting with those people from Britain, man, because they are really pristine and they're really like they expound on many things. And the thing is, to be honest, I've grown so much in the private sector, not because of my own just risk, but because of talking to TJ. We go back and forth every single day. And most of our podcast material is like on WhatsApp that we talk about and going back and forth. And this is the first time we've actually decided to put it out here. And actually, we're going to bring on the Repat pod. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I
would love to put our full unfiltered conversations online because it would be so useful. But this is as close as we can get to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Don't let this discourage you, right? If you're coming here.
No.
Come with boldness.
Yes.
You have a lot to offer. And there are, if you can get past a couple of these gatekeepers, there is a winner takes all market and you can win.
Right.
Huge markets here.
It's a huge market, and then also forcing the market to become collaborative. And as Pan-Africans, and those of us who espouse this ideology, and I'm one, I'm also very hashtag FBA or Black American. I grew up there. But we are stronger. Like I'm living here as a Black American, and the person that has really helped a lot of our intellectual framework is a person from Black Britain. You know, a person that's half white, half Nigerian. That's really come into our community, and we've been benefiting from his talent. He comes in, he trains my team. He comes in, and we're just friends. And his framework was so good. I said, "Can I get you to come and help my team?" And he's a great asset. So you never know who's going to help you. But you cannot get collaboration with gatekeeping. because gatekeeping kills collaboration. It's bottlenecking. And a lot of the African private sector is gatekeeping, bottlenecking, rent seeking, and it must be defeated. It has to die for us to live. It is the only thing. And you gatekeepers, look at me. Fuck you guys, okay? I am going to come after you. If you fuck with me, I'm going to it's me. You must fall so that we can live. You got to fall, unfortunately. And so the market must be collaborative. We need talent in the market. We have so much talent here in Uganda and so much talent in Black Britain and so much talent around the Black world, but we can't get it to work together because people in a low trust environment don't trust each other. They don't like each other, and they don't feel that they can benefit off their talent. So then we lose so much talent in Uganda. Maybe like the top out of 10 people I've met in my life, 5 of them have been from Uganda. And then one of them died, came to comic. And the world was never to see his talent before it came. And there's so many Ugandans that go to the grave every day that take all their talent with them. And nobody saw it because it was gatekept. Or if you're a person in Uganda, you cannot be merit-based. So let me just say this as owners. You come into Uganda, you hire people, you hire staff, and then you struggle for a bit. Why do you struggle? You struggle with saying the same things over and over and over again. The people don't understand you. They speak English, they don't get it. And you're frustrated as an owner. Well, why is that? It's not because people are stupid or they don't know. It's just that the way that they've been taught how to do business is, oh, Papa, I'm sorry. I'll do better. It's relationship-based business. And those of us from the United States or the UK, we do partly a relationship, but we're what? We're based on results. And we're going to talk about one of our friends, but somebody we know that went to the States, they were complaining about how the States is all about business. There's not any relationships there. Right. They're not friendly. Well, because when you can't do anything, you got to be friendly, right?
Right.
But in America, it's good to be friendly. It's better to be results driven. And so what happens in a relationship economy like Uganda is that you don't have skills, or you don't, because skills are not rewarded here. There are people that have skills, but it's not what's rewarded. Being submissive to a gatekeeper is what's rewarded.
Yes.
And so now we don't get that collaboration within the Black world. And so now us as Africa, Black world, the Black community, Black Americans, Black British, we all suffer because we can't benefit off our own talent on the continent.
Yeah. This is actually a huge point that is easy to underestimate. What we're discussing here actually is Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
So there are surface level things that we can pick and say, this is why the continent isn't succeeding, right? We can say colonialism, neo-colonialism, all of the structures of oppression and imperialism that is put upon the continent of Africa. We know that. My channel is all about that. We acknowledge it. But then what can we do? Like, what are the levers that we can pull as Africans, as people trying to build the continent to make the continent better? We know that there is these outside elements, but are we playing our part on the continent? And what you find is that there's people that are actually content with the status quo. This is where you might hear someone say, corruption in Africa is why Africa isn't winning. You know, all of that. What we're talking about is very close to corruption. So how does it manifest for us? People come to the continent because they have a heart for the continent. They're romantic about the continent. They want to build a Pan-African unity. They want to connect. And I think if you just pluck Africans, individuals out, you ask them, you know, about an African identity. A lot of people will say they want that. They want a better Africa. They want Africa to take its place as we all know the potential of the continent is being the richest resource continent on the planet. But then when you come here, you face these issues. The system doesn't work for you. And so you end up running out of money and you have to go back.
Right.
It happens to a lot of people that are really excellent, actually.
Yes.
And so if we don't play on this edge that we're talking about, this hard edge, we won't break the system.
We won't.
And then the everyday people do not benefit. because the economy doesn't rise, and it's been robbed of true talent.
Yes.
Brain drain leaves.
Yes.
And then the talent that comes is rebounded out. So we have friends that have come and gone. Maybe if they just had 6 months more runway, because they didn't have to deal with these meetings and bureaucracy, their money, they could have got to their goal in a time before they ran out of the money they came here to establish. They were this close to establishing something great on the continent. A business that would employ 100 people, 1,000 people. But they were robbed of it because they walked through this trudge to get there. And so we can't build Pan-Africa. We at our little level, we can't plant our brick and have others plant their bricks next to us to build this great continent that we want. So it's hardline. We got to be hardline. And those of us that are being hardline about it, what are those guys when the West in America wasn't discovered? Those guys had to go on the wagon wheels all the way. And the
49er guys.
Those guys went through hell.
The gold miners, yes.
They go through hell. The women were hard. They encountered Indians and there was conflict. And okay, I'm not getting into all that. But you know, you're talking about pioneer mentality.
Pioneer,
this is a Pan-African pioneer.
We're mavericks.
Yes. This is what this is. This is what it looks like. It's not just getting citizenship in a country that has no infrastructure to help you actually develop. You know, all that's going to do, and this is what also breeds those that come here and then they become the crooks that we complain about. And they manipulate a market to others coming. Maybe our message isn't as PC and perfect, but we are not the ones that come here and then try to scam back our own people. You know, I'll sell you this land or I'll do whatever. I'll get, you know, we can get citizenship. Yeah, there's African countries are handing out citizenship. How will you sustain yourself once you're here? You're still going to have to deal with this market. You know, what we're talking about is Pan-Africanism, really. That was my point.
And again, TJ has done an excellent job. We talk about this all the time, but I think this is the first podcast on this in the world, as far as talking about it from this lens and a bird's eye view, is we have to force markets to meritocracy.
Yes.
You have to force it. And the only way to force it, because you know me, guys, I've been on YouTube for 10 years. I have over 400 million views every day. And I believe TJ can attest this for his own channel. We wake up and we work day and night. And every dollar we earn, we get it. It's hard to do this, right? I have a team. I spend $1,000 a month in production. Guys from America who come with your savings, or if you're from the Black Diaspora, Jamaica, Caribbean, Uganda, Kenya, whatever, you're working real hard in America to achieve this same thing. When you come back, you're dealing with a gatekeeper who his leverage is not meritocracy. His leverage or her leverage is relationships.
And status.
Status, relationships, and loyalty to a system. So automatically, a bureaucratic and a meritocracy-based person cannot really work together, because they don't see the same world from the same bird's eye view. It's very difficult. So one has to defeat the other. That's what the Bible says. A man cannot have two slave masters. He will love one and hate the other, right? So there is no working and there is no collaborating. And I'll tell you this, to a gatekeeper, it doesn't work. A gatekeeper must fall. Or he must let me, or he or she, if we're working on meritocracy, 100% autonomy to do what I need to do. If we cannot have that, we cannot be here in Africa and expect success. Because in order for Black Americans or even the African diaspora to be here, gatekeepers have to fall. They must fall. It has to go from a relationship market to a market based on who is the best person, who is the most talented person, who is the person that adds the most value. Now, once we get there, then it's free. But we're not dealing with that in Uganda. And Kenya is a little bit better. Rwanda's getting a little bit better. And that's why they're developing. And so this is no shot at anybody in general, but it is what you must be prepared for. I don't care if you go to Ghana, you go to Nigeria. In Africa, you're going to deal with some level of gatekeeping. Some are better than others. But you must be there to be excellent, and you must be there to force and put pressure on the gatekeepers. That must be a part of your attack. Gatekeepers are there. Whatever industry you're in, they must move territory. Period. If you cannot force gatekeepers, and that could be a whole podcast in itself, right. But gatekeepers must be forced to move territory. You cannot work with them. All the time we see guys, oh, you should email this guy. You should email. Nope. That person, no. That person must come to me. If they don't want to come to me, I'll just take their market share. It's okay. You don't have to come to me. I'll just cut into what you're doing. And then you'll be forced to come to me. And you must be forced to come to me on my terms, because you can never be on a gatekeeper's terms. A gatekeeper is a seat holder,
but
not a collaborator.
O'Shea's talking very tough, but we're talking from a position of meekness.
Yes.
Right? So it's not that we're here to get leverage over them so then now we can do them over.
There you go.
So the definition of meekness, people think it's weak. It's not weak. It's, I have the ability to overpower you, but I'm not just going to overpower you for no reason. I'm only going to overpower you when you attack me.
There you go.
I'm going to hold my power and treat you fairly.
Yes.
In this interaction. So when it's like, come to me, when you come to me, you're going to get a great deal.
There you go.
You're going to get excellent results. You're going to get hard work. You're going to get all the talent and meritocracy. And, we're going to bend heaven and earth to get you the outcomes you want. We can work like that all day. But the moment we see that it's going that other way,
right,
it's going to turn and we're going to shut everything down best we can.
Right. No, I'm glad you made that. It's not to do that, because even for myself or TJ, before I got here, I was I was doing very well and still do very well. But we cannot grow if the environment is not collaborative or it's not fair. Malcolm X, all the civil rights guys asked for a system of fairness, okay, in the 60s. The diaspora must demand a system of fairness.
Yeah.
But here's the difference. If you don't want to make it fair, I will make it fair. We have to be willing to make it fair and stop complaining about it. We have to make people cover that territory. If they don't want to make it fair, we must tell on them.
Yeah.
We must be willing to expose them.
And that means we have to be fair.
Yes.
Because then they're like, oh, this guy paid me on time?
Yes.
The last 20 years, I've never had anyone pay me on time. I'm going to work with this guy again. We've just broken a little gap.
Yes.
In
Establishing
the
goodwill.
Right. Like, we paid in advance. We do that all the time.
Yes.
Pay in advance. What would make this thing successful for you? Well, our goal is to earn this amount of money. Oh, that's in our budget. Now we've settled you and paid you that you've already got your success coming in.
Yes.
All we want is these things.
Right.
They've never seen business like this before.
Right.
Right. So you're breaking, you're chipping away at this meritocracy idea, and eventually you will build trust with these people, and someone's going to give you the opportunity, and someone's going to open up, and that's how it starts.
Right. And in closing, I mean, again, we want to establish goodwill as goodwill compounds in a low trust market. That's a whole other idea we talk about. But ultimately, nobody's coming to Africa to make somebody miserable. But ultimately, I feel like in the Black diaspora, we have as much right to be here as anybody else. And if we're doing what is right for the community, nobody has the right to gatekeep you when you're adding to, not rent seeking, you're adding to. But the only way the diaspora is going to maintain its leverage instead of just giving cash is to attack gatekeepers, is to make rent seekers run amok. It's the only way. And we got to be adamant about that and put it into our strategy, is to make gatekeepers, if they try to be, enemies of the state. And they need to be that. They're enemies of Africa. They're enemies of collaborative behavior. And there's so many young people that need jobs as the population. And the last thing, too, the population in Uganda is going crazy every year. Kenya, but Uganda really. 1985, this place was 13 or 14 million people.
Right.
Now, 2025, it's almost 49 million.
In Uganda, I think it's 60% of the population is under 14. And the population of Kampala is set to double between 2025 and 2030. That's one city.
One city. So, and then you talk about the other cities.
That's opportunity, by the way.
So you talk about other cities that have not even developed.
Right.
And you need more jobs to sustain this growth. And unfortunately, where we're at, we don't have that solution. Well, that solution is gatekeeping must stop. I mean, we have to stop that because you can't gatekeep growth. So TJ, thank you so much. I mean, I know
I've got something to say.
Yeah, say it. What is it?
Okay, it's a shameless plug.
Plug.
So forgive me, guys. I am building something that is going to help anyone interested in coming to the continent. And it's not selling land or buying land or everything. It's a database service. So I'm building a service that lets you compare all of the visa, medical, GDP data of all the African countries side by side in one platform. So you can quickly start to see if you're coming to Africa where you may fit in, where you may want to come to. It's just information-based, all in one platform where you can quickly see Rwanda versus Kenya, Nigeria versus Ghana. You can see all the data next to each other. If you're interested in having a look at that content, join my Substack. It's free to join. There is a paid tier of $5 a month, but join the Substack because I'm probably going to launch it on my Substack. The link will be in the description, I trust.
Yeah.
And there'll be a way for you to quickly analyze the best African country that you may want to go to purely off stats and statistics. So I'm launching that soon.
A lot of times we don't know about what people do behind the scenes for you. I want to give Ms. Flowers for just being so instrumental in my life and laughing at all my bad jokes every day and just, being when you have people like this, it really hurt me when the Giles left Africa Ever After.
Yeah, we miss you guys.
Really miss you guys. Hope they can come back. But I really started being depressed when they left.
Right.
It really...
Yeah, it was downer.
Yeah, because they were like running our community for us.
Right.
They were making sure that, people were coming up to meetings and things like that.
And it's just another set of people, we socialize with, we hang out with, we understand their problems, they understand ours.
Yeah. And they were really... Like our community was really on the up and up, and they left and they had to go back and hopefully that's why I want to bring the podcast back so that podcast opens up opportunities. But TJ, we talk the guys are genius. Like on a scale of like 10 to 10 is like a 15.
I mean, this is getting too much now. The audience have heard of.
Yeah.
O'Shea.
I'm smart too.
O'Shea's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Develop my channel.
Yeah. But he really understands what's going on. It's so many good people in the black world. And you guys think I'm so negative. But the reality, I know I've been drinking a little bit too. But the reality is this, in closing. Africa must grow. The black community must grow. And as much as I talk, we need each other. And we have to leverage each other's talent. And we just have to be fair. If black Americans, Ugandans, Kenyans, those of our brothers from Dubai, the UAE, those of our brothers in Saudi Arabia, why are they there?
I mean, you just look at the landscape in the West.
Yeah.
There are, I saw the other day on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
The CEO of Red Lobster is a Nigerian guy.
Yeah, yeah.
There's just so many people
he rebuilt the whole country.
Right.
The company.
That guy could be doing something on the continent.
Yes.
But he probably doesn't want to.
No.
Because of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? We need, at some point, we got to get this talent to want to be here.
Nobody wants to put up with this.
Right?
I can tell you.
Opportunity here and all of that. And yeah, there's two sides to the coin. There's, the issues that come from the outside forces. We all know about that.
Yeah.
But there's things we can do. We can build from the ground up here as well.
Yes, the West has done what it's done.
It does what it does.
But you know what? We don't ever talk about that us as blacks are doing every day. And a lot of the times, even when I was in Black America, a lot of the stuff we do to each other when we don't have to do it. And all of this stuff, it doesn't need to happen. We're literally beating ourselves.
If you have a criticism for someone that you think is, let's just say, causing harm to our own, it's very easy for you to be criminalized as being an agent, a divisive person.
Right.
About a year ago, or maybe less than a year ago now, I noticed all of these Ibrahim Traore fake videos. The guy doesn't speak English.
Right.
And then they're making like fake videos of him speaking English, talking like positive things, but it's not his words. Right. And those videos are getting 500,000 views.
Right.
Do you think those people actually care about the cause?
No.
Or do you think they're just trying to get a check? And then when I called that out, I had like 100 people unsubscribe in one day from my channel, right? And I had people saying, all of a sudden now, my whole channel is pro-African. Now now my white side is coming out.
Yeah.
Now
I'm
I'm an agent. I'm a agent of the West, right? So we got to find a way to hold ourselves accountable. You know, tell me what you could achieve.
Right.
Let's say you wanted to lose weight. If you had no self-accountability, you couldn't achieve that goal. What is it that you can achieve without looking at the reality, at all warts and all, and assessing where your weaknesses are?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the mechanism for us to be able to do that, to criticize and, you know, come together and deal with our problems.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow a lot of these other communities, they figure out how to move in one direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? We got to figure that out.
We got to figure it out. And tell me about your channel.
The Subi Shop, like I said, please come to my Substack. I'm going to be releasing a product for everybody who wants to be able to compare different which African country is the best to move to. This tool is going to help you to figure that out. It's not trying to sell you like land or anything like that. It's just information based. You know, the Subi Shop is my YouTube channel. My Substack is also the Subi Shop. Check me out online.
All right, guys. Peace.